Hello there, class. We're now on class 7, as I figure it. We're going into our discussion of media, which is going to take most of the rest of the kind of content for the term. Now, there are also going to be some guest lectures, visit to the library, which I will be recording and posting, and obviously you've got exams and other discussions and ads to submit and things like that, and of course your overall project on Ocean Spray. So today we are going to begin our talk about media, particularly as it relates to, or as they relate to, direct response. Let's just quickly review where we are as a class now, so that if you're looking at this, you're in Level 4, Part A. You did your objectives some time ago. I've commented on them. Team 1 has submitted a direct response ad, which all the other teams discussed. It was very good. We're going to need Team 2 to submit a direct ad by the end of the week of 10/3. You handed your company presentations in. Actually, as I'm sitting here recording this now, which is on Saturday the 29th, I have received 2 presentations, so I'm hoping the others get to me pretty quickly. One of the ones I got that worked well was in Google Slides, and the team was actually embedded a recorded video on different slides, which worked very nicely. On Ocean Spray, since you've finished your company presentations, you should have gotten feedback from me. I will give it as soon as I get the presentations. For Ocean Spray, which your teams are now going to put a lot of your focus on, you have a team leader, presumably. You've done a timetable, although I have a suggested timetable, as you can see, supplied in the course schedule. But the first thing you'll be doing is secondary research, which should be done as much as possible at the Gladys Marcus Library, which has a lot of amazing resources. It's something we discussed somewhat in the research lecture. And you're also going to get a video of our visit to the library I'm doing with my class, the one that meets in a classroom. That visit is going to be next Wednesday. We'll record that and I'll post it. And the very helpful person in the library there, who has done these tours for me in all of my classes, will focus on Ocean Spray and what we can find on Ocean Spray in the beverage industry and things like that. Also on October 3rd in the live class, for lack of a better way to express it, Jason John, who's the Chief Marketing Officer at Publishers Clearinghouse, we'll be taping a nice guest lecture from him. I think you'll find that very enjoyable. He does a great job. And then, as I think I mentioned in the research class when I talked about 800 Flowers, a gentleman who I hired at 800 Flowers a long time ago to help me market over there, spent his career really at Marriott doing a lot of good things. He's going to come in and talk to us. I will be taping his lecture on October 17th. So the agenda for today's lecture is pretty basic. I'm going to take you through an overview of media, kind of how to look at media overall. We're also going to discuss a little bit about the history of media in the U.S., just to give you a bit of background on things. And then we'll start digging into print, and we'll finish up on print in the next lecture. So, of course, I'm going to start with this, our acapella, and advertising, as well as public relations, emails, word of mouth, events, door-to-door salesman, telephone salesman or salesperson. All those things are in the awareness, consideration, preference area of our purchase funnel. And then we usually give offers to get customers to try us. We reduce the risk We reduce the price. We give a money-back guarantee. We post reviews of the products. We do lots of things to reduce the risk and encourage someone to try the product. But advertising fits in up at the top of the purchase funnel. So I'm going to go through, first of all, just some basic media concepts. You're going to need to know these, just hint, for your midterm. What are impressions? What is an impression? And it is actually what it sounds like if you think about, leaving a footprint in the sand, or, putting an impression on something or impressing somebody. An impression is means that one person has seen an ad one time or heard an ad one time. One ad has made an impression on one person. It's a way of measuring what your media plan is delivering. What is reach? And this is another way of measuring what your media plan is delivering. These are basic media concepts. Reach is expressed as a percentage, and it is the percentage of the target audience who sees one of your ads at least once. That is your total reach. A typical reach one would want, you'd want something in the 80s normally of your target audience to have a basically effective media plan. What is frequency? Well, it's also what it sounds like. This is the average number of times that anyone you have reached has seen your ad. The average number, not the max number, not the minimum number, but the average number. What are GRPs? What does it stand for? Well, it stands for gross rating points. Very fundamental media concept, and reach times frequency equals gross rating points. TRPs are also rating points, but they're target rating points. Some people express rating points and they call them, it's points against your target. What is circulation? This is another way of measuring media. This is how print media are measured. This is how many people see the magazine, get the magazine, usually as subscribers or people who bought it at the newsstand. So it's sort of the initial number of people who have received or bought the magazine. Magazines also have a kind of a multiplication factor where there's a pass-along readership that is often also measured, but it's not counted in circulation. What are ratings? And this is how broadcast is measured. Both TV and radio are measured in terms of percent of people who have seen the TV show in which the ad appears. HH stands for households, and this is another basic sort of measurement. We talk about the whole household. In other words, it's reached how many households, how many times. Monthly uniques, this is more how online media are measured. And it's, in a way, it's their form of circulation or rating. So how many individual people go to a website at least once during a month. CPM is cost per thousand, M, the old Roman numeral 1,000. So it's another way of measuring and comparing media. How much in dollars and cents does it cost to deliver 1,000 impressions in radio, TV, etc.? And we can actually rank media by CPM. So here are written out all the definitions for you that I've just gone through. Oh, I think I left out, I didn't talk about effective frequency on the first sheet. So effective frequency is the number of times a prospect needs to see your ad to be moved. A lot of people think that's at least 3, based on sort of general research that's out there, accepted research. So there are two basic ways to evaluate any medium. The first is cost. And again, that breaks down to cost per thousand CPM. The second way to evaluate the medium is what is the quality of the impression. And just think about different types of media. Radio is missing something pretty much all other media have, right? A magazine is missing something that you get in a video ad, right? So, sight, sound, and motion, okay? How much of each does the medium offer? And this has to do with the quality of the impression, okay? So, if I see, for instance, an out-of-home impression, a billboard impression, or a bus shelter ad, generally regarded as not a very strong impression, okay? Because if I'm driving my car down a highway, I may notice the billboard out of the corner of my eye and only see it for a few seconds, okay? It's not the same as watching a half-hour infomercial, right? In terms of persuasiveness, in terms of what it can show or demonstrate about the product. So, radio lacks a visual. So if you've got a new package that's important for your launch, radio's maybe not going to do it the way you want it to, although there are ways to get around that we can talk about a little later. So quality of the impression is determined by how much sight, sound, motion does it have or doesn't have, or it doesn't have. Depth of sale is time spent with the ads. So when a lot of advertising moved from 60-second TV ads to 30-second to 15-second, we all knew that the time, cutting the time meant cutting the depth of sale. The ultimate depth of sale is like a half-hour infomercial. Avoidability is another way to that has not something else that has an effect on the quality of the impression. So in a magazine, I would say that for many readers of a magazine that don't necessarily page through every page, that kind of skip around and look for certain things they want to read, they may not even see your ad. Okay, but on the flip side, if I am walking around outside and you've bought in New York around FIT and you've bought a bus shelter campaign in Manhattan, and I'm a student at FIT walking around, there's a very good chance I'm going to have to see the ad because it's just going to be in my face. So one of the advantages of out-of-home, key advantage, is it's unavoidable. Okay, so maybe a weak impression, but it kind of balances that by being so unavoidable. Trackability, tracking results, is something else that we use to measure media, and this is where internet, of course, is so much superior to everything else. Is that it offers, supreme trackability. Are there any other factors that you can use to evaluate media type? I don't know. Are there? So, based on what I just talked about, just think in your own minds, what type of media have high quality impressions, give a high quality impression, and what has a lower quality impression. And right, so we kind of talked about a little bit. Out of home maybe has somewhat lower quality, and long form video has a high quality impression. So I'm going to stop this section now. The next section we're going to get into is history of advertising media in the U.S.